Hi, I am Adam. It was Christmas Eve. The fireplace was crackling, the snow was falling outside, and the smell of cinnamon and turkey still lingered in the house. It had been years since I saw all my grandkids together. They'd grown so fast. We laughed, we played games, and after dinner, they all curled up around me by the fire. "Grandpa," one of them said, holding a mug of hot chocolate, "do you know any real horror stories? Like something that actually happened?" I smiled. I almost said no. But then I remembered something I haven't told anyone, not even their parents. A story that still keeps me up some nights. A story I hoped I'd forget, but I never could. So I leaned forward, looked at them all, wide-eyed and waiting, and said, "You want a real horror story? All right, let me take you back to when I was 24, fresh out of college, just a young guy with a backpack and a dream. I thought I was chasing peace, but I found something else. I needed peace. No phones, no people, no deadlines, just me and nature. This trip wasn't random. I'd been planning it for 2 months. I read trail reviews, bought new gear, and practiced setting up my tent in my backyard. It was going to be my reward, my escape. When the day finally came, I couldn't stop smiling. The drive was peaceful, the air smelled fresh. My backpack was packed just right. I parked near the Vickers Hollow Trail, north of the mountains. A quiet place no one really talks about. Perfect for a solo hike. I hiked for hours. I'd be walking alone all day, just me and the forest. As the sun started to set, I found a quiet spot near a calm lake. It felt peaceful, so I decided to stop there for the night. I set up my tent under some tall trees and sat down to rest for a while. Then I took my fishing rod and went to the edge of the lake. The water was still, and it didn't take long before I caught a fish. I cooked it over a small fire. The smell of the fresh fish and the warmth of the flames made me feel happy and relaxed. After eating, I started a small fire, just enough to stay warm. The stars came out. It was quiet, too quiet. No crickets, no frogs, just the wind. I lay down on the grass and stared up at the sky. The stars were bright and clear. I felt small under that huge sky, but in a good way. I took out my diary and started writing about my day. Then, out of nowhere, I heard a sound from the trees. I told myself it was an animal, maybe a rabbit or a deer. It was soft at first, like something moving through the bushes. I stopped writing and listened. The sound came again, louder this time. My heart started beating fast. I sat still, staring into the darkness, trying to see what it was. Nothing to worry about. By 10 p.m., I was tired. I put out the fire and got into my tent. As I zipped it shut, I felt something strange, like someone was watching me. I told myself I was just being paranoid. I closed my eyes. It was midnight, and I was fast asleep inside my tent. The night was quiet, just the sound of the breeze in the trees. Suddenly, I woke up to the sound of footsteps outside. At first, I thought it was a dream, but then I heard them again. Soft, slow steps, getting closer. I didn't move. I just lay there, eyes wide open, listening carefully. My heart was pounding. The footsteps were now right outside my tent. I held my breath, trying to stay calm. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice shaking a little. There was no answer, just silence. I stayed still, not sure what to do. Part of me wanted to unzip the tent and look outside. Maybe it was just an animal. Maybe someone else had wandered into the woods. But why would anyone be here at this hour? Again I asked, "Hello? Is someone there?" Still no reply. The footsteps had stopped, but the fear didn't. I waited, straining to hear anything else. I didn't know if I should stay inside or go out and see. The forest, which felt peaceful earlier, now felt strange and full of shadows. As I sat frozen inside the tent, trying to make sense of the silence, I noticed something move just outside. Through the thin fabric, I saw a shadow pass by. My stomach dropped. It wasn't the shape of any animal I'd seen before. I didn't breathe. I just sat there, heart racing, not knowing what to expect. After a few minutes of silence, I slowly reached for the tent zip. My hands were shaking. I lowered it just enough to peek outside. What I saw made my blood run cold. There, standing a few feet away, was a pale, skinny figure. It looked human, but not quite. Its skin was too light, its limbs too long. It didn't move, just stood there, facing the trees. I couldn't look for more than a second. I quickly zipped the tent shut, my hands trembling. I didn't move after that. I didn't make a sound. I just sat there in complete silence, waiting. Every creak of a branch or rustle of a leaf made me flinch. I kept staring at the tent walls, praying for the night to pass. I waited like that until the first light of dawn. The moment the sun rose, I packed up and left, without looking back. As soon as the first rays of sunlight touched the trees, I grabbed my backpack, zipped it up in a rush, and ran. I didn't even bother packing the tent properly. I just ran, like a freak, through the forest, heart still pounding, breath short, looking over my shoulder every few minutes. I didn't stop for hours. My legs burned, my shirt clung to my skin with sweat. But I kept going, needing to put as much distance as I could between me and whatever that thing was. Then, through the trees, I spotted something. A torn tent, barely standing. The fabric was shredded, flapping slightly in the breeze. I slowed down, confused and nervous. I called out, "Hello?" But there was no reply. Carefully, I stepped closer. The place looked abandoned, yet recent. Someone had been here not long ago. I bent down and peeked inside the tent. No one. But there was a small leather-bound journal lying near the corner. I picked it up and opened it. The pages were messy, filled with hurried, scribbled writing. As I read the first few lines, a chill ran down my spine. It described footsteps at night, a shadow, a pale figure, exactly what I had seen. As I stood there holding the journal, a cold breeze swept through the trees. Something made me look up. Far behind the trees, half hidden in the shadows, I saw it again. That same pale, skinny figure, tall, still, and watching the tent. It wasn't moving, just standing there, watching me. My blood turned ice cold. I dropped the journal, left my backpack, and ran. I didn't think, didn't look back. I just ran as fast as my legs would carry me. My feet trashed through the underbrush, branches whipped against my arms and face. But I didn't stop. I ran until my lungs burned, until my legs gave up. And finally, just as I thought I couldn't go any farther, I saw it. A road. A real road. I stumbled onto it, gasping for breath, nearly crying with relief. A passing car slowed down, and I flagged it with shaking hands. The driver asked if I was okay, but I couldn't even speak. Later that day, I made it back home, safe, away from the forest. But I still can't forget that figure. It's still there in my mind, standing, watching, waiting. I never told anyone. Not until now. The grandkids were silent. One of them said, "That's not real." I smiled. maybe not. But later that night, one of them asked me something in private. Grandpa, why don't you ever go into the woods anymore? I looked at her and said, because sometimes the woods remember you.